6 more days.
Monday night. Don't adjust your YouTube. We are here live, October 16th, 2017, Slam Pigs podcast.
Number 80.
80. And there he is, guys. Hot off the heels of your debut on Future Wrestling last night. Michael, what's up? Welcome back.
How's it going, everybody? Glad to be back. Had a great week. Looking forward to my birthday special this Sunday. TLC. Just happens to be my 30th birthday with Mr. Lee.
And possibly Logan.
Possibly Logie's Hoagies. Mr. Big Papa Potbelly himself could be appearing as well. I know he
the savior of the Slim Jim Corporation.
I know he's really been trying to get on this show, so we'll have to see.
But how was your week? What's up? And where can everyone check you out?
Everyone can check me out at Mike the Slam Pig on Twitter. As always, check us out as a whole, the Big TMD. Make sure to check out Cruise Control, Future of Wrestling with Logan and Broski. Make sure to check out our sister show, The Reset Button. As always, check out this show, Slam Pigs Podcast, with myself and Travis. Did I forget anything?
I think I nailed it. I think you got it in. And of course, follow
Travis, where can everybody check you out?
Me on Twitter, at TMD. And for anyone that stops by the chat tonight, we will do our best to man the chat. Thank you for stopping by. But Michael, let's get right into it while we're here. This Sunday, TLC 2017, Raw brand exclusive this year. Last year was SmackDown. I don't even really remember last year's, but you called some of Monday Night Raw tonight. Show just ended a little while ago. I did see. The only thing I saw from it, because I fell asleep earlier, was the Shield officially coming out their old music and all that stuff.
Yes, the Shield, the retro Shield, coming out in their old attire, coming out through the crowd. Hounds of Justice.
Can we get to the hair real quick?
Oh, the Dean Ambrose hair. Good God, it looked like a dog licked his fucking head. What is wrong with him?
I don't know.
I don't understand why he thinks that.
He washes his hair with maple syrup.
Yeah, I don't know why he thinks that looks good. If you just like slick it back or something, dude, like you did when you were in the Shield the first time.
Yeah.
Looked much better. Other than this fucking messy hobo look.
Other than that, and no Rollins flip it over the barricade aside.
I know that disappointed you.
The crowd loved it. It was fine.
Yeah,
glad we didn't just have Roman's theme music. They added the old part. And surrounding Kurt Angle, basically saying, we'll kick your ass if you don't get out of here. And Kurt pretty much scoffing it off, as he should. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He could probably still take all three guys.
He got out of the ring eventually.
He did. But yeah, that's all I saw. I don't know what else you saw on the show tonight.
There was an eventual altercation. Basically, the Shield called out all their opponents for this Sunday. And their opponents gladly obliged, led by Braun Strowman. As soon as they called him out, it was like 2 seconds and Braun Strowman's music hit. And he just came thundering out with everybody kind of coming behind him. Kurt Angle cuts everybody off. He said, that's for this Sunday. Tonight you have your own matches, which led to the Ambrose Rollins bar match for the tag titles, return match for the tag titles.
This was advertised all week.
Yes. This was a pretty good match from what I saw. Ambrose and Rollins retain. So no.
Which surprised me. I thought the Bar was going to win tonight just to add some kind of incentive to the Shield winning instead of just, the Shield's back, they won. You know what I mean? But they didn't.
They want to keep the Shield looking strong, I guess. Can't have them losing. In other action, you had, let's see, you had a women's tag match. You had Bayley and Mickie James going up against Alexa Bliss and Emma. I believe Bayley and Mickie got the win in this. Nobody gave a shit about this match, including me. Just a thrown together match that doesn't really do anything for me. I guess to get everybody in for, I don't know why Bayley's in here, but the other
after the match, did it progress anything for the
Not that I
show?
know of.
No. Wow.
But other than that, as far as Raw went, there wasn't a whole lot to write home about.
Apparently, Gallows had a duet with Gallows and Anderson, excuse me, with the Drifter, which I'm glad I missed.
It's 6-man tag action.
Finn Balor with Ooga Booga pumpkin face paint and stuff.
Mr. Pumpkin Patch himself, the Demon King.
The Pumpkin Patch King. There you go. I like it.
Phineas Balor.
Phineas Balor.
Cutting a promo for this Sunday, and it becomes announced that he will not be taking on Bray Wyatt. He will be taking on Sister Abigail.
The rumors were true, apparently, that we see on the internet this past week, Michael, with the new cross-dressing, quote-unquote, angle for Bray Wyatt. Let's see where it goes. Let's give it a chance, I guess. That's all we can do, really, I guess, all right? You disagree, obviously, with the look on your face. Go ahead.
I was just thinking about the link you sent me yesterday with Bray Wyatt in it. with Breezango.
Oh, that was tremendous. Yes, on the red carpet, 2K18. If no one's seen that, please check that out. That's one of the. I've never laughed so hard at anything recent memory wrestling.
Those guys are fucking.
They're killing it. Did you watch
awesome.
the whole video?
Yes.
Oh my, tremendous. They really are, and I was so right. And I don't like to toot my own horn a while because I'm not that cocky. But months ago, I said they're the modern day Edge and Christian. They really have turned into that.
Yeah.
And you saw it on SmackDown last week. The fans were just, they wanted them to win that number 1 contendership match so bad. You
and
could
they
feel
didn't.
it. They didn't. But that's smart. Don't pull the trigger yet. Build it up. When it
Build it
calls for it, like you like to say.
Well, before the New Day, they were the last challengers for the belts anyway, I believe.
Yeah.
So I guess they want to give another team a chance to get over a little bit and make a name for themselves with Gable and Shelton, which seem to be a formidable tag team.
Yeah.
I think they need a little sizzle.
A lot more so than a Ascension would be. So they found themselves in a pickle with that division.
The Ascension.
I like them.
They just don't get a chance. Give them a chance.
It's. I don't think it's ever been their fault, except for the drug violation for Connor.
Give them a fucking chance. Jesus Christ.
But we're not here to talk about the Ascension. We'll get to that.
We're not here to talk about SmackDown.
This is TLC Prediction Show. And all apologies on no regular show this week on Sunday. You know.
Yeah.
Working man again. Real life happens. But
He's busy. He's getting too big for his britches.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Other than that, as far as Raw went, the biggest thing to write home about from Raw was the return of Kane.
Woo.
You saw how excited we were for that.
Hyped.
Kane is back.
I'm as hyped as Mojo Rawley on Adderall about that
Yeah.
announcement. I don't. Why? Like you said, well, I guess he's not mayor. He lost. But and they're totally stacking the match now. The match is what now for TLC?
5-on-3. It's Kane, Braun Strowman, Sheamus and Cesaro, and The Miz all against the Shield.
Woof.
5-on-3, and I'm sure the Shield's going to go over.
You know,
that's the shitty part about
that. You know exactly what it reminds me of because I told you off air a bunch. This reminds me totally now of when Hogan and Savage went up against like the Dungeon of Doom, like 20 guys, and they still found a way to win. This whole thing, let's go ahead and cut the bullshit, guys. Yes, the crowd's been reacting good, and quite frankly, it's cool to see the Shield after all these years. You know, right? But like you love to say, I didn't feel like it called for this yet, and they rushed it, and all this is a panic attack by WWE going last ditch effort to get Roman over before Mania. Well, and it's not going to work.
And they need something for people to want to buy for this pay-per-view because there's no title matches. Other than the Cruiserweight title and the Women's title, there's no title matches.
Yeah.
What kind of fucking pay-per-view is that?
You could have main evented it with a number 1 contendership TLC match. You know what I mean? The number 1.
For fuck's
sake. You could have done like Balor or Roman or something like that.
Could have used that as your Money in the Bank or whatever. But
that's not what they did. And, you know, I get it. It's business. Nostalgia always draws money.
Why is it TLC, by the way? Is there any TLC matches?
That match.
Okay. Is that it?
I think that's it.
So they're going to have an 8-man, or Balor and...
But that's fine, because in the past we've also said about these shows that when they put multiple on, it numbs the crowd by the end.
Now, what is the TLC match again?
The Shield and the World.
Well, what are they going after?
Grudge match.
Well, usually in a TLC match, there's something up, like a briefcase or something.
Sometimes you just pin them. Sometimes. You know what I mean? In the game, you pin them.
Well, that makes sense for this fucking pay-per-view. You have one TLC match in it.
And you can't even climb to grab anything.
Fuck, you can't even give the women a fucking ladder match?
Yeah. But,
Jesus.
I don't know if I'm not hyped, this main event. Let's get right to it, TLC, Michael. The main event, Shield versus World. I'm not hyped. It's just a quick cash-in main event, man. It is what it is.
It's kind of a lackluster pay-per-view, which I don't think is just because it's on my birthday.
You get Oscar. We'll get to that. We'll get to your present.
What a lackluster effort for a show on my birthday.
What is it with you and the Shield? We go to SmackDown last year, or like 3 years ago, and it's when the Shield powerbomb Fandango off. We go this last year. They powerbombed
everybody.
Yeah.
They were just killing everybody that night. They were supposed to take on like 10 guys.
It's the curse of the Shield for you. You're going to carry on the Shield for the rest of your life.
They ended up taking on 5 guys that night anyway.
And since we didn't get to review them coming back last week,
yeah,
I liked all of it except one thing. The fact that they already had brand new shirts waiting for them by the end of the show. Yeah. You know what I mean? That was too much. But other than that, it was fine. I did like last week, and then they added Braun. And I loved that they took out what we assumed was going to be Bo Dallas and Axel.
Yeah.
And they made a little more credible guys in there.
I think WWE pulled an audible on that one.
Oh, yeah, big time. Week 1.
Like, nobody's going to believe that at all. Nobody's going to believe that team has a chance, no matter how many guys are on it. If Axel and Bo Dallas are on it, nobody's going to believe it.
I mean, I'm sure Axel and Dallas feel great about the change.
Yeah. But, they can stand on the outside and cheer.
Michael, main event TLC this Sunday. Who do you got, and what are your thoughts?
Shield. No thoughts.
That's it? Does this progress anything? Because you said the Ambrose heel turn is probably going to be the one to come.
I mean, that would be the only way I could see them not winning.
Yeah.
Is if Ambrose turned on him.
Why do you think everyone assumes it's going to be Ambrose, by the way? Because they just turned Rollins. They're never going
Rollins
to
has
turn
already
Reigns.
been heel. Yeah, and Roman's not going to be heel.
And Ambrose is kind of stagnant
he's
right
the most
now.
stale out of the three.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the only way for him to get a boost up to the main event picture anyway. He's
Yep.
going to have to turn heel, and that possibly will lead to a program with him and Reigns or Rollins, depending on where they go with it.
Now, just because we're not really... Megan Starr in the chat. Welcome.
Hey,
Thank you so
Meggers,
much.
thanks for making me your lone follower Friday, by the way.
Really?
Yes, you didn't see that on Twitter?
I did not see that.
She said because my panties got in a bunch, she made me her only FF.
Nice. I haven't been on Twitter.
On Twitter.
But she says, I didn't even think of this. Kane with no pyro is bullshit. So there's no pyro for Kane. Wow.
It was just red lights. Just red lighting.
Jesus Christ. But thank you, Megan, for stopping by. And thank you for the Follow Friday for Michael, apparently.
Yes, just me.
Now, just because we're not hyped for this match, I think it's going to be a good match. You know what I mean? I think it's going to have nice spots.
Well, there's too many guys
you
in
got
it
Rollins in it
for not to
Christ's
be a
sake.
good match.
Yeah.
I mean, you have too many good workers in that match. I think everybody's going to get a chance to go over a little bit, get their shit in. There's going to for this match to be entertaining or anything to remember it by, there's going to have to be something in this match, whether it's crazy spots
Turn,
or a heel turn, whatever. Maybe a face turn by somebody, who knows. But there's got to be something in this
by
match.
Kane again.
Yeah, Kane will turn face again. But maybe a Samoa Joe appearance.
Yeah.
That was another rumor I heard. They were going to have a fourth member of the Shield for this match, and it was going to be Samoa Joe, but that never came about. So
that would make no sense because he attacked Rollins earlier this year.
But he's another badass type character that could fit in there for one match or whatever. He wouldn't have to wear the attire or anything like that, but he could just help them out.
I kind of wish he would wear the attire sometimes. No offense to Joe and his
more clothing,
his boobs. I'm totally
those tits. You can't get past them, can you?
Can't.
Just like Big E.
I was actually joking today about Jennifer Love Hewitt with Jim from Drake Beer Play Game. Like, none of us realized she ever had a face till like the past couple years. I like to pretend Joe doesn't have a midsection. Anyway, I'm totally with you on the main event. I'm not hyped, and it's going to be a fine match. If anything, like you said, it would have to be a turn or a title change, something to. Other than that, it's just people will forget about this match in 5 months. It'll be nothing. Like, name one thing from last year's TLC that you remember, because I remember nothing. Nothing. That's how unspecial these gimmick shows have become, in my opinion. You know?
Yeah, I can't remember anything. Yeah, I mean, maybe they could go a different direction and giving the Miz and company the win here with Survivor Series coming up. Maybe that would lead to a rematch where the Shield goes and recruits maybe one or two guys.
Yeah.
To be on a traditional
because
Survivor
they're
Series
outnumbered.
team.
Yes, that would make sense.
That would make some sense. But
what if they got AOP and Joe, Authors of Pain? That would be
just nothing but Samoans, huh? Just getting a bunch of let's go get a bunch of Samoans. We can't lose.
I don't think they're Samoans in the AOP. They're from.
I'm pretty sure they're related to Reigns in some way.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
From what I've read.
Maybe.
Cousins or something, because they're all related. But it's first, and I don't want that to come off from.
No. I mean, well, let's be real.
The Samoan wrestling family, is fucking. They're all related.
Yeah, I mean, they really are. Except for Joe's. Joe is the only one.
He's from
all
guys. Family.
The one we want to see get a push. Of course, he's not connected, so he'll be the last to get a fucking push. Other than that, the biggest news on this show this Sunday, your birthday present wrapped in nice little slutty Japanese tinfoil is Asuka makes her debut.
Yeah!
Your lady.
Woo!
For 2 years, I've heard this man come all over her verbally about how hot she is. She goes up against Emma. I'm glad you won the Battle Royal, Emma. Because I hope anyone...
It was an elimination match. It was a fatal 5-way. It wasn't even a Battle Royal.
You're right. Anyone that thinks that came out of that show last week with, Emma's going to get a push now. No.
You know what my favorite part of that match was?
What's that?
Alicia Fox eliminating Bayley.
That was... I thought it was Sasha.
No.
She eliminated.
No,
you're right.
Sasha eliminated Alicia Fox.
Apparently, speaking of Sasha, tons of heat right now in all directions. Her and Charlotte. That appearance coming out, that's why Charlotte was moved. I always assumed they were close friends. Apparently, there's been heat. A lot of things coming through the cracks. Plus,
she's got a lot of heat with a lot of people.
She has a lot of heat with everyone
fans.
in the business in general, like workers, about how she doesn't make time for the fans.
Yep.
So many veterans, current guys, indie guys have come out.
She did the show with Rosenberg and mentioned how she thought people were stalkers that wait for her at the airport and shit.
Yep.
Well, guess what? If it wasn't for those stalkers, you dumb bitch, you wouldn't have a job.
Yep. With your overrated ass. And I'm sorry, Sasha Banks. And I know everybody wanted Sasha 2 years ago. But I wanted Bayley then. I'll admit it. I was wrong too, but I wanted Bayley.
I wanted Charlotte.
Sasha, I've always thought is overrated. Perception's reality. She's like a Brie Bella. She's too little.
You have to put her in
Alexa Bliss, you could say that, but Alexa Bliss just has something about her that jumps off the screen.
Alexa Bliss is also a heel. She's not a stale babyface who shouldn't be a babyface. I don't think Alexa Bliss could ever get over as a babyface. Just her personality.
God knows they'll try it someday.
Well, yeah, because they'll capitalize on her size or something, making her an underdog or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just can't see it, and I can't. That's the problem. My biggest problem with Sasha as a babyface. She screams bitch to me.
Yeah, because she is
flat out. It's kind of hard to really get behind
garbage.
Her.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just doesn't make sense with her. And she also strikes me as kind of like a person that really has to be put in there with somebody that's good, or else her match isn't going to be very good.
She'll be exposed.
Well, it's not that she'll be exposed; just her match won't be very good. She needs somebody like Bayley. That's why they put her with Bayley so much and Charlotte so much, because those are the two people that she could work with to put on a good match.
And that Brooklyn match in NXT with Bayley and Sasha was what I've gone on record saying is one of the best women's matches they've ever done, which I still agree.
I like the Iron Woman match better than that one.
That was good too. I think the first one had more of a spectacle.
Well, it had more of a spectacle. It was a bigger crowd.
Yeah.
But
it was first anything people.
I thought the Iron Woman match was really physical and nasty, and I loved it.
But looking back, to go back to rewatch that, you really got to say more credit to Bayley in that match for pulling more. And I never thought I would say that.
I've watched those matches a bunch of times because they're that good.
They are.
And but like I said, I like the Iron Woman match more just because of the physicality. Those two just fucking killed each other.
And I don't want to come out and flat out say Sasha Banks sucks. And I get what happens when they go from NXT to the main roster. They're told to tone it back. Right, essentially.
Well, there's a different style of
exactly.
The roster.
Can't be doing that stuff here, pal. We do things different.
You got to work 4 nights a week here.
So in that respect, I'm not saying but when you take that away, it's just what's left is not that good to me when it's stripped down. That's why an Alexa sticks out, because even stripped down from all the shit they're shackled with, she's still really good and it shows. But Asuka and Emma. Your birthday present, like I said, I think Asuka is going to not get the Nakamura treatment. I don't think they're going to toy with her. I don't think they're going to fuck with the fans. Asuka's special. I think they know she's special, flat out. We wouldn't have seen a streak like this.
Is this an Asuka squash special?
Sorry, I
couldn't even get it out.
I don't think this is
a squash special.
I don't think it's a squash match. I don't think it's a squash. I think Emma gets a little bit in. You know what I mean? Kind of like when Asuka debuted in NXT. I think it was against Dana Brooke on pay-per-view. And Dana got a little bit in. But
5 minutes?
Something like it. It won't be long. But of course,
congratulations, Emma.
She'll get a monster ovation, of course, as well deserved. And
Emma making her 2nd straight appearance on pay-per-view.
There you go. So shut your mouth on Twitter. Can you stop complaining, Emma? God, you got your day in the sun.
Sorry, I had to cut you off there just to get that in.
As if I need to ask. Who's your pick this match?
Asuka squash special, 3 minutes. Over under on that match is 3 minutes.
Same.
Asuka lock, finish, over.
The thing I'd rather talk about in this match is the next night on Raw. What do you think they're going to do?
What a shocker it would be, though, if her first loss ever was to Emma in her debut.
I think they wouldn't do that. They would not build up that streak that long, I think, to do it to someone like Emma, who's obviously
Do you think it was their plan for her to leave undefeated? Or was it because she got injured? I think the original plan was for her to drop it to Ember Moon eventually.
Maybe.
Because that's tradition in the business. You don't leave with the belt. You know
I kind of feel like, and call me crazy, I feel like the more they've seen Ember Moon in big match situations, they've pulled back a little bit. Fine in the ring. Charisma-wise.
If you check out our show from last evening, once you post it up and everything's good to go.
At Future Wrestling Podcast.
Yes.
On Future Wrestling on YouTube.
Logan and I actually talked about this a little bit with Ember Moon and stuff. He asked me the question, what male and female star do I see in NXT right now that would be a big star on the main roster? And I talked about the women more than I talked about the men because with the women, I picked Nikki Cross as the only one that I could see being a long-term star on the main roster.
Really?
I love Nikki Cross. I
do too. Because she's different.
Yes, I love her character. I love her in-ring work. She's very physical. I believe her character, which is best. That's what I've said with Ember Moon. And I mentioned Ember Moon and Ruby Riott in the same sentence as to the point where
you want to read out there who's in our chat for the first time ever? I want you to do the
Lee.
Lee's in the chat. Lee will be on the TLC post show this Sunday.
It's like 6 a.m. there, isn't it?
I know. Look at the dedication. Good old Lee. But he says, Michael, oh my God, what a pay-per-view I have decided to make my return to Slam Pigs Podcast. This looks like a mess. Asuka versus Emma. Whoopie-doo. Let's have the big new name coming to Raw to take on the women division jobber. Well, I mean, what do you want to debut her? Win the title the first night, push a page, and then ruin her? And Megan says Asuka's winning. That's why she's battling with Emma. And, yeah, Megan likes Cross, too.
But
so thank you, Lee, for stopping by.
as far as your mention on Ember Moon, I put her in the same sense with Ruby Riott because it looks like these two are trying so hard to look different, but when you get to know their character, they're bland.
Bland as the day is long.
Yes,
because they're having to memorize scripts, and not everyone can do that.
Well, and I just don't think either one of them are that different with their personality. I think they're very bland people that just have eccentric looks. Like Ruby Riott has all these tattoos and piercings, but when you hear her talk, it's just like, I'm Ruby Riott, and I'm gonna win. You know what I mean?
I think with an Ember Moon, less is more with talking.
Ember Moon, the more I look at her face, the more I look at her face, she kind of strikes me as a little bit mannish in the face.
I think she looks like Stacey Dash, the black girl from Clueless. Yeah. That's totally who she reminds me of.
Still kind of looks like a man.
Yeah, I think she's smoking.
If I was going to pick a female, I said I would pick Nikki Cross.
It's good.
Yeah. Sorry, a little off topic there, but you mentioned Ember Moon, and it brought...
Thinking about
Plus, I wanted to get a future wrestling plug for Logan there.
There you go. And can you check out Logan this Sunday?
Yes,
possibly
Logan.
On TLC?
Logan, I'm okay with him on the show if you are.
Sure, always.
It's my birthday.
Hoagies.
It's
we'll
my
be
birthday.
Hungry. We need hoagies and all that
I think
stuff.
he's anxious to come on the show because he wants me, just like last week, he wants me to pick on somebody more than him. So he's anxious, like he was with Colin last week, to have me really go after somebody else.
The spooktacular Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, Ooga Booga Finn Balor versus Sister Christian Abigail. Jesus H. Christ. First of all, the feud that would never end like the Lamb Chop song. And secondly, what the fuck? Jack-o'-lantern fucking face paint. It looks like a kindergartner contest. And of course, the Sister Abigail thing, I'm going to give it a chance. That's all I can do at this point. Maybe Bray will knock it out of the park. But
Goldust cross-dressing is back.
Oogie Boogie Balor, Michael.
Do you think there'll actually be an appearance by a female at some point with Finn Balor?
I heard Sage Beckett, and I don't know if you saw her in the Mae Young Classic. I
wasn't
heard
impressed.
She
was okay.
Didn't see enough, I think.
She was okay, but
I have a feeling she's not going to set my world on fire if I see more of her. But I think visually she'd be a good fit for an Abigail.
They need a Nikki Cross type character to put with him. I think she would fit perfectly with Bray Wyatt. I hate to keep pumping her up like she's the subject of the show.
Yeah.
But I feel like her and Finn Balor.
I could put her on the thumbnail if you want.
I just think she would be the kind of character that you want to put with him. Mm-hmm. Somebody a little strange. You know what I mean?
Also, Paige is set to return anytime. And I remember 2 years ago that was...
Put her
everybody
with the
fantasy booked her as Sister Abigail, remember?
Yeah.
We'll make Paige Sister Abigail. Also, I think, like, especially with the timing, plus, we didn't get to review SmackDown last week. Bludgeon Brothers.
Oh.
Harper and Rowan are back. You know what? Fuck you, Michael. I like it. I like the hammers. I like the bludgeons. We got to hear Eric Rowan talk.
Are they the Berserker's cousins?
I think.
Bludgeon Brothers?
I'm pretty sure. By marriage.
Are they going to come out with him as the manager?
I think.
With their manager, the Berserker.
Jesus. And Howard Finkel, too, just to announce them. The Bludgeon Brothers.
There's going to be fucking Huss everywhere.
The timing was perfect to just shift those two guys back with Wyatt on Raw. And then have a Shield reunion, Wyatt reunion for that rematch at TLC. My God. Because
Huss.
Stop saying Huss. It's not a Berserker cast. Someday. Maybe I'll honor him on Hibiki Honors. The stars and the moon were aligned for that. Because God knows that was one of the best six-man tags ever in that company, too. That's what I would have done. What the fuck? And kill this Balor feud. Nobody cares anymore.
It's just something for both of them to do.
Exactly.
Until they go onto the new storyline, which is going to come up close to WrestleMania season after Survivor Series. I still think you see another match between these two at Survivor Series.
I do too, unfortunately.
I think they're going to save it for the around the Rumble where they go with different storylines.
God.
Once you figure out what the Undertaker's going to be doing and all that stuff.
Are we going to see each of these guys now pull Mick Foley in the Rumble and come out different times? The Demon came out. Well, no, Leather Jacket Finn.
Yeah, here comes Leather Jacket Finn.
Michael, what do you think? Your pick, and do you care about this feud anymore?
Don't give two shits. To be honest with you, I think it's way too Final Fantasy-like for me. But it's getting just a little too hokey for my liking. Well, I'm wearing face paint. Well, I'm going to dress like a woman. Well,
I spent more money at Party City than you did.
Yeah, pretty much. It's what it's turned into. Just a novelty act for me.
My mom bought me these.
Which is a shame because these two guys could really be two top guys in your company.
Really could.
And they're really just being thrown together with no thought process at all into the storyline.
Bray Wyatt should have been in that title.
Who's writing this shit?
No fucking
You can tell these writers have no clue what to do with these guys.
Yeah.
None.
You could tell most of these writers probably never watched a New Japan match Finn Balor before. But who's to say?
Sling Blade!
Who's to say who the fuck's pulling the strings? Raw seems like such a convoluted mess backstage. Big Show's come out recently on podcast, and we're going to get to someone coming out on the podcast because there's some news this week with Roman and the Bullet Club. I don't know if you saw it. We'll get to that because I want to talk because I agree with Roman. But this match, I'm totally with you again. Shocker, I agree with you.
If I had to pick somebody, I'm going Balor.
I'm going Wyatt. I
Okay.
mean, I think they just debuted this new character for him.
They want to tie it up at 2 apiece so they have a 5th match. Great.
Yeah,
Thanks,
probably.
Travis.
Well, look, I don't want to lose hope that Wyatt's completely dead in the water. I like to cling on to hope, but I'm starting to think it's a lost cause.
I don't think he's dead in the water, but I think this feud's dead in the water. I think a new feud will definitely rejuvenate him. The problem with his character is that it doesn't seem like he ever gets the best of any feud. So the longer he goes on, it's like, when does he finally get some momentum behind him? I mean, he won the title.
Yeah.
He won the WWE title last year at Elimination Chamber. And you were like, okay, maybe this guy's finally getting some momentum. No, just to lose it at WrestleMania a month later to Randy Orton for no fucking reason.
It seems like every single Wyatt angle for years has been the same. He'll always get like his heat back on the go home show before the pay per view, then lose, and then start all over to a new feud. Same formula.
Yep.
Nothing
and he still
changes.
talks about how he's a god and the eater of worlds. How do you take him seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, do they think about this when they're writing? Or
I don't know how many times on this show I can say it's now or never to do something with Wyatt. If I'm not saying it again, you know what? Fuck it.
I think personally, I think he's starting to get a little stale with the fans. So
fans are tired of waiting, and that's going to happen when you fuck with the guy's character, flat out. And any promotion, you know what I mean?
Just his character in general, I think, is starting to get stale. I think people are getting tired of the drawn out promos that you don't really resonate with. Just the character in general, it was much more fun when you had the family with him and you had something to sing along with as a crowd. You know what I mean?
Could you kind of say the same thing for Balor right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
He needs something too. He needs a stable or some sort of character development.
Well, they're too busy singing with Elias Sampson right now.
But for me, these two guys are just. This feud just seems to have done nothing for either one of them. I don't think it's made either one of them more credible or less credible in my eyes. So
I agree. I feel like they had a good match at SummerSlam or No Mercy, one of the two, and that was it. When Balor was wearing the gray undies, that was the best match.
Oh, that was No Mercy.
Yeah, best match, but that should have ended there. They did the paint before that, then the man or whatever.
But now he's wearing the pumpkin paint.
Well, that's for the figures.
Yeah,
Mattel.
That's right, Halloween pumpkin paint.
And the DLC in the new game, pal.
You get Finn Balor pumpkin paint.
Women's title match: Alexa Bliss versus Smoking Hot Mickey James. I'm sorry, I know you buried the woman about her age and her looks, but like some Mickey. I'm going Alexa. This is the filler time for the women's title.
That pump up for Mickey and yours. I'm going Alexa.
Well, I mean, I live in reality. This is just filler until Asuka gets on the main roster, and we'll get the momentum going in that way.
But does Alexa have to be the champion for Asuka?
Yeah.
It couldn't be Nia Jax?
No.
You don't think?
No. That does nothing but stagnate, Nia's momentum. She'll win the title. Everyone's waiting on her to win it just to lose to Asuka right away. Unless you draw it out. But is Nia that season to hold a title that long right away on her first run, you think? Would you do it?
I don't know how long they're going to wait to put the title on Asuka, to be honest with you. So I don't think it's going to run till WrestleMania or as long as you think. I think it could be at Survivor Series where you see Asuka win the belt.
Yeah.
So to me, it doesn't matter who has the belt. When Asuka goes for it, I think Asuka's getting it. Or if she doesn't get it, she's getting a schmoz win or whatever. To me, I would love to see her work with Alexa Bliss. I think it would bring out the best in Alexa Bliss.
I don't think they've ever worked together.
I don't remember them working in NXT at all.
She was with Buddy and Murphy.
Yeah.
Or she was either gone when Asuka was in.
I remember Asuka working with Nia and with Bayley. But other than that, I don't remember anybody else on the main roster. Well, she worked with Emma before.
I think they'll click too. I think they'll have good matches.
Yeah, I hope so. For Alexa Bliss's sake and Asuka's sake, I hope her match style can translate well to the main roster. Hopefully, they don't dial her back too much to the point where she doesn't become interesting anymore.
Alexa Bliss is kind of good selling wise at that little punching bag too. I think that would translate.
That's the only thing that worries me with those two going at each other. How is Asuka going to be able to respond on a microphone?
Yeah.
To the verbal shots from Alexa Bliss. Yeah. So, like I said, the last night with Logan, I think the perfect way to book Asuka would be to put her with Paul Heyman.
I agree.
Female Brock Lesnar
as a heel.
But she doesn't have to be anything. Brock Lesnar's not anything.
That's
He's
true.
A tweener.
That's very true.
It's Asuka. The fucking whatever her nicknames are. You could have Paul Heyman
That's actually perfect.
Yeah, scream
Um,
those out, and I
There
think
we go. Bold prediction this Sunday at TLC. Emma's made her entrance. She's waiting. All of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen,
my name is
out of
Paul
nowhere,
Heyman.
unadvertised. Can you imagine the response to that?
Oh my God!
And
That would be
then Asuka's
wonderful.
entrance on top of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the right call. They won't do it.
No,
They
that'd be
won't
too
fucking
smart.
do it. Exactly. It makes too much sense.
Then Heyman would have too much to do.
Yeah.
But
I will say, if anything, and I think I've said this before on the show, of all the Japanese influx of Japanese guys, that Asuka's probably the best on the mic. English
she's the best Japanese guy.
You know what I mean. All apologies. But you know what I mean. Probably the best out of all of them, I would like to think. Atami doesn't set my world on fire. Shinsuke can barely form a
Atami
sentence.
just isn't the same performer he was before he got injured the first
I
time.
like him as a heel now, though. I think he brings that intensity
his
back.
Him as a
all the
performer
injuries
is totally different.
Yeah. He's not the Kenta from 04,
yeah,
guys.
he's lost a step, that's for sure.
I still like him. I think he's really good.
Shinsuke, I just think he's fallen flat like I said he would because of his language barrier and his style of work. Doesn't translate well on the main roster.
Because his style of work, he was used to at least going 40 minutes in a New Japan match. So now he has to rush all of that shit and condense it.
It just sucks because his first match he had with Sami Zayn was so good.
It was, and it's still his best match to this day because it was given time also.
All
of his gender matches.
I don't think anybody really interfered with it. I think they were pretty much, hey, go do your thing. And these two had worked together before, so it was a little easier. But now he's working with guys he's never worked with before with the language barrier. So I think you're seeing more botches and more things that really concern you with Shinsuke.
Yeah.
But Asuka, I don't think is going to have any concerns in the ring. I think she's going to be fine.
Lee says it doesn't matter who is the women's champion. They had her win the NXT title from Bayley, so it's not like she can't win it from a face. I can't.
Lee agrees with me.
There you go. And Lee's blown up the chat, man. Also says, the demon versus the god. I honestly believe someone will turn up as Sister Abigail and distract Balor, so he thinks it will be a woman, and he picks Wyatt to win. He agrees the feud has ran its course. WWE doesn't believe there's any other promotion in the wrestling world that's so true. I like Wyatt, but they know the Bullet Club exists, trust me. I like Wyatt, and I think he is a great in-ring talent. They build him up and knock him down harder, which makes no sense. Totally agree. So there you have it. Straight from the man himself. Other than that, I don't know another fucking match on this show besides the Cruiserweight title match. Is that it for the card?
There'll probably be some things added to it. I'm sure there'll be a Jason Jordan match somewhere. Against Elias or whoever it is. To set up some other feud, I guess, for two guys that are trying to make a name for themselves. That's a guy that's kind of flown under the radar for me a little bit in Elias, that I think is starting to gain a little bit of momentum. I think the crowd's starting to like it a little more and more. Even as a heel, I think his in-ring work is actually surprisingly good.
Do you think they'll always keep him as a comedy character? You think they'll ever put an edge on him?
I don't see him as that much comedy, though. I see him as...
they let him attack. Kind of like Honky Tonk, man. We're a little bit of comedy,
except he's actually, formidable. Honky Tonk Man looked kind of like a guy you'd see on the street somewhere that...
Easy. It's Honky, baby.
I'm sorry.
He held that IC belt forever.
I'm sorry, but if you and Honky Tonk Man met in the back of an alley, who you think's going to win the fist fight?
Wayne Ferris.
If you think Honky Tonk, you think Honky Tonk Man's going to beat your ass?
You know when Honky Tonk Man debuted as a babyface and the crowd hated him?
No.
So they had to turn him heel? Yeah, that's how he debuted in the WWF. Ugh. Honky hated it too. He went to Vince like, this isn't going to work. Because he'd been doing the character as a heel in Calgary and shit. But Vince was so dead set on the little kids wear Elvis wigs and merchandise, pal. And go back, guys, on YouTube. Watch Honky Tonk Man.
Like Bret Hart on a horse.
Yes.
Cowboy Bret.
Jesus Christ.
That was a great gimmick.
I watched... if any of you have the WWE Network, you got to go in the Tuesday Night Titans episodes, right? I know we're off topic, but this card, quite frankly, sucks. In the Vault from like 86.
Yep.
Halloween special, you got Lou Albano as the Great Pumpkin, Mean Gene in bondage gear. It was tremendous. And I watched it last night, set my world on fire. This card is not. And that's TLC, Michael, I believe. I'm glad there's some things I want to talk about this week with you other than this, because that's our format.
Neville is gone, evidently. Pretty much.
What's that?
Neville?
Neville has left
the king.
The building. You and I have not gotten into this yet. I've gotten it on Cruise Control. You got into it on Future Wrestling. Let's get into it here on the main stage. Slam Pigs. Neville's gone, apparently. There's been conflicting reports. One from Mike Johnson from PW Insider or whatever that said he was never at Raw. He just didn't fly in. Another person said that he did walk out. Either way, Neville, I don't think he's coming back. He's fed up. Now that everything's come out of the air, everybody knows by now what happened. We don't need to get into what happened.
There's different interpretations.
The main story is now, though, that the thing that broke the Charlotte broke the camel's back, for one, apparently the booking, blah, blah, blah.
He didn't want to put Enzo.
He didn't want to put Enzo over. I call horseshit on that. I think he cares more about his money, which the other reason being they left his match with Aries from the WrestleMania pre-show off the DVD this year, which really pissed Neville off.
Well, a little late to bitch about that.
Possibly rumors that's another reason Aries had enough. They were both frustrated with their booking to begin with and their pay. And guys lose royalties when they miss out on DVDs, and that's their biggest selling DVD all year. So I get that. And we're in that weird time now where a guy leaves, he gets himself over enough, and he makes a fucking killing on the indies. Austin Aries came out on Twitter this week and also said it's his first match back. His 90 days are up. This first show, one show. And he's working some guy from Lucha Underground, I think. I don't know those fucking guys, but making 3 times more than he did in WWE already. I say it all the time, we're in the weirdest era ever in
Now, that
wrestling.
could be true. It could be exaggerated to an extent.
I still think he's going to make more.
But he's probably
One
making
shot.
more. I don't know if it's 3 times more, but it could be.
Now, these guys, and I'll let you have the floor here in a second. My only thing is, and that's fine, make your name, stick it in their face if they don't want to push it. The only thing is, that momentum only lasts so long on the indies. You know what I mean? So
then you have nowhere to go.
It's a fine line. But go ahead, Michael. Your thoughts on the entire Neville situation?
Well, my thoughts, I mentioned this last night on Future Wrestling with Logan. He asked my opinion if he thought Neville was right or wrong for this, and I overwhelmingly said he was wrong. I guess I'm old school about the business. Because from what I've read, the reports were this was a lot about the booking and a little about the WrestleMania thing. I think the WrestleMania thing was already an issue, but this could have been like the straw that broke the camel's back or whatever. And to me, it's very unprofessional for me, for anyone in that company, to especially somebody of Neville's status who has pretty much been given the cruiserweight reigns for the entire existence of the cruiserweight division, to really complain about having to put somebody over. Like, how many times have you really had to put somebody over since you've been a cruiserweight?
Yeah.
And now you're starting to fucking believe your own shit. You're pulling a Goldberg now. I don't want to put him over. That's not believable. And to me, it just strikes me as unprofessional.
Are you talking about with Jericho and Goldberg back in the day? Yeah.
But
That's
and
exactly
a lot of
what you're
reports
talking
from a lot of guys that know Goldberg have said that Goldberg thinks the shit's way too real for his own good. So, and I think maybe Neville might be getting there a little bit. I'm not sure. But regardless of that, I think it's very unprofessional for one to walk out of your job. It's your job, first off.
Yeah.
You're under contract. It's your fucking job. If WWE wanted to sue him for breach of contract, they could.
They could.
If they really,
they don't have to pay him either.
No, they don't.
They never do.
They could be dicks and wait for him to leave and go make money on the indies, then sue him for breach of contract and take all his fucking money.
Even though I want these guys to be a success because they're independent contractors at the end of the day, whether it's official or not, they are. Yeah, you did breach a contract there, buddy.
Absolutely.
It is the hand that feeds you, whether you liked your position there or not. I get that.
Whether you like it or not, it is your job to go and do what you're told to do.
And I think the Enzo thing is more or less, I don't think he would have had a problem putting over anyone else. I just think it's with all the heat backstage with Enzo. But that's another thing. I think some of the biggest successes in the history of wrestling have been guys that had the biggest fucking heat.
What I mentioned last night with Logan.
Shawn Michaels rang a fucking bell, people.
That's exactly what I said last night. I was like,
it's
hello, Shawn Michaels.
Say what you want, love or hate Enzo. Backstage, real life as a fan, he's putting eyes on 205 right now. More than they had been off the history of that show, ever.
Exactly. Which I hate to be right, but I was right. I said
tried to light my vape right there.
I said they needed to put the belt on Enzo for them to be more relevant, and they did. And look at their viewership. It went up.
Now, that has subsided already, but I think that speaks more not to Enzo, just how the show's history in general.
Well, there's nobody of personality for him to work with on that show.
You've stripped Neville away from it now. What's left? And let's get to it also. Kalisto, brand new champion last week, Mike. That was a last-minute call, apparently.
That was the audible from Neville leaving.
Yeah, and their excuse was, well, it's Eddie Guerrero's 50th birthday. It would have been. Well, great. Yeah. So every time it's a birthday, let's do a title change. I mean, I get it. I think Enzo will get it back. We didn't actually say our prediction on that match. Let's do that real quick. I think Enzo gets it back. I don't like Enzo as a heel as much as a babyface because he's smaller.
Yeah.
But I do like that they're starting to surround him with like an Ari Daivari as like a bigger bodyguard type for a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
But Enzo's reminding me of that heel DDP manager like 91. That's exactly what he reminded. And I didn't hate it. I don't think he's a bad heel. I just think there's more money as a babyface. It makes for better angles with the guy that stature.
He was definitely selling plenty of merch.
Yeah, but
so I know when we went, I don't know how many fucking Enzo wigs I saw and certified G shirts.
Yeah.
That were in the crowd, but there was a lot. So,
and I think Kalisto was fine. I mean,
he belongs in the cruiserweight division.
He does. He should have been there day one.
He's fine there. It's another flippy guy that has no personality.
Picture broke yesterday or the day before that Logan or Colin sent me in our cruise control group chat. The belt's black now. It's not purple anymore. They've changed that. And I made a joke like, well, it figures, the most colorful guy on the fucking roster wins it. Then they make it black. It should have been black with Neville because he was a heel.
Are they going to change the ropes too?
That's lighting. That's just they put blue lighting on. Are they
still going to be purple or?
I don't know, but yeah, they did change the belt. It's black now, so there you have it. Yeah, that's the Neville story, Michael. I mean,
maybe they're getting it ready for Cedric.
Hey, you know what? I'm a bit.
Sorry, couldn't help it.
Views and thoughts expressed on the show by Michael or those by Mike. Anyway, I'm with you in a way that it's your job. Just eat your fucking words. Sometimes you've been given this dominant run, and hell, if we're gonna do that to Neville, I'll call it Steve Austin's guilty of that. CM Punk is a big one.
Yeah.
A lot of guys. This
struck me as CM Punkish for him to walk out like this. So it's, to me, you could ask for your release like Austin Aries did without walking out of the company.
Yeah.
And they probably would have given it to him.
Now, if he gets that pay because he did it Punk style, we'll see.
Who knows?
That's the tale of Neville this week. Another big one. Another huge thing I want to get into this week. Roman Reigns did an interview on some podcast this week, which surprised me because it wasn't a Sam Roberts podcast. I didn't think those guys were allowed to do any podcasts, but he did. And the Bullet Club thing was brought up, the invasion. And Roman quoted, I put a picture of it last week on Twitter, and I said flat out, I agree with Roman. Hate on the man all you want. He was right here. Robbie from Kayfabe Today podcast kind of came at me and said, well, it was a company line. I'm like, no, I say the same thing Roman said all the time. It's not a company line. It just sounds like that because it's the truth. He said, we don't need a bunch of guys going out there doing 2 suites and doing stuff that got over 15 years ago. We need original characters now.
Something to get this era over, yeah.
I listened to Solid Monster this week. He agreed with what Roman said. He even went back. He pulled a slam pace. He went back to the mid-'90s, believe it or not, and said, Stone Cold Steve Austin came along, took that company by the throat. There was never another guy like Steve Austin in that company. Maybe Dave Schultz, but Dave Schultz was there for a couple months.
Yeah.
There it is. It had back then, you did see guys running around like doing like Bruno stuff, trying for. I totally get what Roman's saying, and I agree. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
You need a. What are your thoughts on that, Mike?
I mean, we spoke about this many times before as far as the Young Bucks went with their stuff. But as a whole, we've always said, make your own name. Don't make somebody else's name. Don't be a novelty act. Don't be Jay Lethal being Black Machismo and whatever stupid gimmicks he was doing in TNA.
And I'm not saying it's not smart. What they did, the parody of it, they've sold more merchandise than any other indie act in the history of pro wrestling now.
Yeah, ever. But is it because of them?
It's not. It's not. But I still think they're smart enough to capitalize on certain things that are. They always, even when they were hit with the cease and desist, they already put out a new shirt mocking that. So they were smart enough to make fun of them, and that shirt's selling well. So I will give them credit where the devil, where it's due. They've always smart business-wise as far as their merch. But it's lazy. You become complacent. Uncreative, just like Marty Squirrel. Oh, what's your gimmick, pal? I'm the villain. Oh, you're a villain, huh? You're that fucking lazy. You can't just act like one. You got to call yourself. That's laziness to me. You know what I mean? The bad guy raised him, but that was because Tony Montana, not because he was a heel bad guy.
He still called him Squirrel. It's just funny.
Oh, I can't. Between the man bun and the umbrella, I can't fucking take it anymore.
You don't like the umbrellas?
Christ. I'm sure they'll get hit with the cease and desist on that soon.
I guess you're glad, Jack Gallagher doesn't have that anymore.
Actually, Marty Squirrel had the umbrella first, I've read.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm sure you're glad you don't have to see it from Jack Gallagher anymore.
That's true.
Sorry, Gallagher.
Now I get to watch him wrestle in slacks every week. Crisp, fresh slacks.
Sure, that's fun to wrestle in.
And loafers. Slide around like The Rock, giving the people's elbow. That was awesome, actually. Yeah, and the Bullet Club responded, by the way, to this. For one of the Bucks, Matt or Nick Jackson, came out on Twitter and said they were disappointed. They expect this from an old salty veteran, but a young, current top guy they respect. They were disappointed and hurt. The Room did this. Whatever.
Get over it.
It's fucking wrestling. He's right.
Get your own gimmick. That's all I have to say.
Bullet Club, promo-wise, responded in ROH, and boy, did they ever. Thing is, also did shit that we did too fucking years. They blasted Roman for drugs in a promo. Ooh, how long ago was Roman's drug suspension? Yeah. Way to stay on the edge there, Cody Rhodes. And I like Cody Rhodes, but Christ, I feel like Cody Rhodes is like my teenage son. He's surrounded by these bad influences in high school. I don't want him around.
Like, yeah, Cody,
get the fuck out of Bullet Club, Cody Rhodes. These guys are douchebags. They're butt-hurt pricks who blocked me, and I never even said anything offensive to the Young Bucks. I sent them a Star Wars gif, and I got blocked. They're fucking cowards, and they are pussies. And if anything, none of those terms, coward, pussies, anything, were anything like the original members of the NWO! Can you imagine Hall and Nash blocking somebody? They'd beat their fucking ass and pop a bunch of somas and laugh about it. If you're going to rip off the NWO, live like the NWO. I rest my case, Michael.
I don't know.
So sick of this shit. Bang, bang, I'm so cool because I put guns on my t-shirt. Cactus Jack did that shit first, too. You cocksuckers. So sick of the Bullet Club, man. I really am. I don't mean to get triggered.
Ladies and gentlemen, Travis is getting a little heated here. So
and it ain't just the Bullet Club themselves. You know what I equate Bullet Club fans to in wrestling? That's our version of fucking juggalos, Michael. Think about it. Am I wrong?
No.
Your 2 cents. This whole mess. This fucking mess with cease and desists and umbrellas and invasions and bullshit and terrible rip-off gimmicks. And where the fuck are we at right now in pro wrestling?
Well, we're in a very lazy society of millennials that can't come up with their own thing, so they try and rip off somebody else's own thing to make a buck off of it, which is exactly what these guys do.
Did you mean to do that? Make a buck off of it?
But it's that would be creative on their part.
That would be creative.
Hey, let's go make a buck. You know what I mean?
They gotta have shirts that say "Buck the System."
Exactly.
Fuck's sake, we thought of that in 2 seconds.
It's not difficult.
Shit.
But I guess that wouldn't sell as much merch as somebody else's catchphrase. So it's
just have it say Uncle Buck. Fuck it. Put John Candy on your shirt.
When all else fails, bucket. You know what I mean? So you could do that. But
2 words, bucket. Well, you're still ripping off the X.
Yeah.
Can't all be winners.
Still,
can't all be winners.
It's not really ripping them off.
Yeah. It's more creative than literally saying "suck it."
Let's do something of your own.
I'm actually surprised they didn't just do that. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Oh, can't say "suck it"? Well, buck it.
Yeah.
But
it's.
And I'm also.
Or we're going buck wild if you want to be fucking stupid about it.
I think of that chick from that Flavor Flav reality show when I hear buck wild. You know what I'm talking about? With the big gap in her teeth.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Is that New York?
No, that was no.
Okay. Shout out to David Otunga, who was on the I Love New York show.
He was. Got to start there. I'm also surprised that in 2 years in Slam Pigs, we've never really had a big Bullet Club rant till just now.
Well, I don't really care. That's the problem.
I just don't think I can take it anymore. I've had my fill.
That's why I don't rant about it, because I just don't care about it.
I sit back in social media and I'm like, okay, Bullet Club picture.
To me, they just strike me as WWE washouts. So it's why should I care? It's I don't watch.
Well, the Bucks were never there. The Bucks turned them down, and they hated it. They hate when anyone turns them down.
I've started to watch more WWE or more indie wrestling over the past year or so, but it's still not as interesting to me as watching WWE for some reason.
Let's see what our chat says. This should be interesting when you bring up Bullet Club hate. This divides your listeners real quick. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. As Michael gets another drink. Lee is predicting Enzo to regain. Michael says nobody cares what Lee thinks. Of course, Lee would say Bullet Club for life. Oh, should I cancel my return to Slam Pigs then because I am one of those Bullet Club juggalos? Hey, to each his own. But you're not one of those, you're never one of those cringy Bullet Club fans. You know what I mean? That are all, loud and proud about it. You know what I mean? On any social media platform, any podcast, they're like, Bullet Club is the only wrestling I'll watch. Anything else sucks. At least you're an open-minded fan. You know what I mean? So you get a pass, Lisa. As Michael would make. You're not going to believe this? Lee's a big Bullet Club fan. Michael was making his way back in. Yeah, that's the whole situation, Michael, with the Bullet Club and Roman this week.
Nobody cares what Lee thinks.
Lee is pondering if he should even come on this Sunday since he's a quote-unquote Juggalo fan. Now, I told him the difference.
He's finding any way to bail out. Look at him. If you're gonna pull another sissified bailout, let us know now.
He's one of those guys like my friend Robbie from Cape Day Podcast. He's a big Bullet Club fan, but he's not all I was just saying when you left loud and proud about it on the Twitter, Bullet Club's doing the wrestling I watch. They're at least open-minded Bullet Club fans, so they get a pass. But you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
You know the fans I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Anything else this week, Michael? You want to talk about anything happening on SmackDown? You want to talk about this rumored Survivor Series title versus champion match?
Yeah, let's bring it up.
Go ahead.
Bring it up. Through the grapevine this week, I've read Tuna Meltzer himself has mentioned it, among others.
Tuna Meltzer hates the idea of
it. I heard that. PW Insider also mentioned this. WWE is talking about their plans for Survivor Series being champion versus champion in a non-title match for the main event. Brock Lesnar versus Jinder Mahal. And you may be able to tell, may not be able to tell by the tone of my voice that I'm not very excited about that possibility. So, Travis, your thoughts on this possible matchup as the main event at Survivor Series?
First of all, you should never do a champion versus champion anything.
If you're not going to put the belts up.
If you're not going to put the belts up. And even then, that's got to be a once in a fucking lifetime. So like a Hogan and Warrior. So something like that. I think this is a dead end match. And I know they go to India 2 weeks after it, right? So I kind of, if they do this, I see Jinder getting a win somehow. I do. Because I don't think Brock can be hurt by eating a pin from Jinder. I don't.
Well, it'll be a dirty pin.
I think the match should be
It'll be a real filthy, dirty pin.
Filthy.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about
filthy. Talking about Singh brothers, Kali.
Everything.
Fucking half of India's got to come in there. Yeah.
The Aladdin on the stage.
Even though he's Canadian.
Yeah. I think the match will be terrible. I think if that match happens, it would be the shits. Horrible. And I don't think that's the right call.
Do they think people in India are that stupid that they don't realize that this guy's not from India?
I don't know. He just went to India for a photo shoot. A couple places they shot him.
I mean, maybe the kids are stupid. They might not know.
I don't know.
But I mean,
they're so starved for a star.
Does he think they don't have the internet in India? Like they can't look up where he's from, his real name originally. You know.
I don't know, but for all the reports on all accounts, everything I've seen, no positive feedback on this announcement, Michael.
No,
rumor,
none.
I should say.
Well, the original plans, I believe, were for Brock to defend against Finn Balor. I don't know why they're audibling from that.
Well, because they've done shit to build up that match. That's not enough time for that. That'd be a throw. That's more of a Mania match I'd like to see. Maybe Balor wins the Rumble this year, and that's throughout the instead of the predicted Roman match. Who the fuck knows?
I don't know.
Has the WWE title ever felt less important to you? And we've seen it on guys like Kali and Diesel.
Well, I mentioned this once again. We went over this. This is what it's like for you to do more than one podcast a week because I keep going over the same things that we went over
you get used to repeating
night.
Yourself and feeling crazy.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying not to contradict myself night for night. But we mentioned this as well last night. Logan asked me how I felt about this match and how I would book it, and I said, first of all, it wouldn't be Jinder Mahal in this match; it would be AJ Styles. If I was going to book it, it would be Brock and AJ Styles going in this match because those are your two top guys on each show.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, that AJ Styles may not be the champion right now, but he is the top guy on that show.
He's your HBK right now.
He's head and shoulders above everybody on that show. And that would be a much more interesting match to me. I think not only do I not like the match between Jinder and Brock because of
who's in it,
but what kind of match it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good. It's not going. It's going to be a slow-paced Brock throwing Jinder around, and just it's going to be a snooze fest.
And plus, basically, let's call a spade a spade. Brock's basically a heel right now. It's much more easier to classify Brock as a heel. So it's a heel versus heel match on top of a title versus title match on a non-title match and a shitty match and all these shit layers on this cake.
I would love to see AJ and Brock go at it.
I would too, but I would love
to see Brock go for a German and AJ just flip and land right on his fucking feet and just look at him.
Then I think about it. That's literally maybe the only dream match you have in that company right now. Think about it. Is there any other match you would classify as a dream match than AJ and Brock right now? Because I don't see one. I really don't.
Are we thinking that The Undertaker is coming back?
Where are you going with that?
Undertaker and Cena.
That is not a dream match for me. Maybe for you. That match should have happened 10 years ago. So.
At this point in their careers, I think it would be fine.
Taker's done. I really.
They said he's been training. He was in the ring training at SummerSlam.
I mean, he's got to stay in shape. He bangs Michelle McCool, man.
I'm just saying he was in the ring training.
You want to pull Rodney Carrington and gain 100 fucking pounds?
Hey, give the guy a break. He's
still funny. I didn't know he's fat too off air.
He's still funny. Doesn't matter how fat you are if you're still funny. I mean, look at me. Look at Logan.
Will you be serious?
Sorry. But as far as I'm concerned, AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar would be the match to make there. I don't think they're going to ever do that at WrestleMania. So if you want to get that match in, I would get it in right now. Somehow have AJ Styles win that belt before Survivor Series.
I do want to speaking of Survivor Series, huge big time announcement. You know what the announcement is?
Corey Bush big time or?
Bigger.
Okay.
Way fucking bigger than that. Jesus Christ, Mike.
Hey, he might be listening.
Our Survivor Series 2017 post show. You want to tell everybody our special guest? Already booked him.
The man himself. Grapplevision, Tonka Saw himself will be on for Survivor Series. Mark your calendars. I don't know the date.
The 19th.
The 19th of November. Thank you, Travis. That's why you're here.
I'm the numbers guy.
Yes, I'm the meat and potatoes guy. But yes, that's right. My meat and potatoes make it. But yes, Tonka will be returning on the show. Super excited to have him back.
Hell yeah.
One of the most knowledgeable guys I've ever had on this show.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute since we had him on the show.
He hasn't been on in a while.
Busy guy.
And the guy is big time compared to us, and we're thrilled that he wants to take time out of his schedule to come and be on the show with us. So,
Most definitely.
and
So look for
plus,
that.
plus the guy knows his shit, which I always enjoy. He's one of the only guys I really couldn't give shit to because he knew what he was talking about. So
There you have it. Get
and
some Michael pass.
if I can't give
Get
you
some Michael Hall pass.
if I can't give you shit, you must know you're wrestling.
And as
So
always, check out Hibiki Honors and more content in the future from us
yes,
on
Grapple
Vision.
Vision. For some reason, he's throwing us a bone, and we like it.
Seems to like us.
Yeah.
We'll take it. We'll take
One
it.
of the few people in the world that likes me. I'm surprised.
And also about Survivor Series last year, Michael, we did say it was our favorite pay-per-view from last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was the best one they did. And they did that whole show versus show thing. And I thought it translated really well. Will they go that route again this year as much? I think a little bit. I don't think the whole card will be like that again. You know what I mean?
I would like to see it kind of
I
like
would
last
too.
year's was.
I would like to see that every
But I
year
would still
now.
like to see a title match. And I also said to Logan, if they were going to do this match with Jinder and Brock, they should just be captains of Survivor Series teams.
Yeah.
If you're not going to put any belts on the line, just have them captain their Survivor Series teams.
Brock and the Shield and Braun versus SmackDown's best.
Whoever, you know
and
what
then
I
that
mean?
would lead to friction and like the Raw side with Roman or Brock or something. You could build angles within that match.
Maybe that's how you could end the Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt
Maybe
thing,
that's
too.
how you could turn Ambrose in a Survivor Series match like that.
Absolutely. I mean, you could have Jinder and AJ, and they don't have to all be heels. You know what I mean? It could be like a wild card type match with faces and heels for both shows.
Another thing I want to talk to you about this week. Sami Zayn came out on SmackDown this week. You see that?
We did not get to talk about his heel turn.
We did not. What did you think of his I thought the
I liked
explanation.
it.
I did too.
I liked
I
it.
think
He
it went
actually
too.
Strikes me as Kevin Owens.
It went too long though. I think that crowd sucked too.
Yeah.
That didn't do it any favors. It ran a little too long,
But he's
good.
definitely struck me as like that snarky heel, like fucking Kevin Owens. So
well, they're best friends.
I think it actually is more fitting for him as a character. At least it seems like he's more comfortable with that. Yeah, he's more comfortable with that already, I think, than he was as a babyface. And he's speaking. I think some of it the stuff he's talking about is truth in his heart.
I think that's one of my favorite things in wrestling, Michael, is when a guy's been such a boring, stagnant face for so long, and they finally greenlight his heel turn, and he gets that first promo, and you can just see it come out, and he gets so much off his chest.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's hit or miss, but more times than not, it's a hit when that happens.
And I hope this leads to something for Sami Zayn. I hope this isn't just another dead end for his career. I hope it leads to some titles for him. Because
a lot of people call him bullshit. It's just mind games for Kevin Owens this whole time. To fuck Kevin Owens. I don't know. I wish they would change Sami Zayn's music now.
Yeah.
Tweak that a little bit,
That was a little
maybe.
weird. But I guess they didn't have a whole lot of time to do that.
Yeah.
But
Jinder not on SmackDown this week also rumored he's injured.
He had some of that special tape on his arm there. He kind of had the Cesaro thing going. But he's probably just a little nicked up. Guess what? He'd be a ball player. So it's kind of the old school mentality. Hey, you're nicked up a little bit. Well, who isn't? So
speaking of which, it was funny. I was watching Up, Down, Down. Xavier Woods and Becky Lynch were on. You know how Woods was injured a little while ago?
Yeah.
His MCL. He was talking about, you think I can go to this video game convention like this? And Becky Lynch was like, well, I have the same injury and I've worked.
Yeah.
She still wrestled, so wow, Woods. Really?
What puss. But then again, he's Bowden Page, so at least he was.
What else we got for him this week, Michael? Anything you think of? Madison Rayne popping up at the Performance Center. Former TNA Knockouts champion.
Yes.
Former, I'm big Madison Rayne fan and the beautiful people.
Former hottie.
We'll see where
Probably
that goes.
Still.
Surprising, look. They just had the Mae Young class. Like all those women that could swoop. She's no spring chicken. You know what I mean?
She's not old either.
She's pushing.
She ain't as old as Mickey.
Not that old, but
Mickey's only 38.
Something.
So I mean, Jesus, what's old to you?
It's always been rumored Velvet Sky was coming. Now that Bully Ray's in ROH now, and that's his lady. I don't know.
What is she doing with him?
I don't know.
Is he muscular again?
I don't know.
Or is he still fat?
He must be packing the heat.
It's funny how he comes back to WWE and he's fat. I wonder if he was on the roids while he was in TNA, you think?
I don't know. Bully was a naughty boy.
Yeah. I don't know. He went from muscle bound Bully Ray to back to fat Bubba
within
Ray.
like 2 days.
Yeah, it's like he never changed.
What do you think about Madison Rayne signing? Apparently,
I'm excited to see her naked. I mean, to see her wrestle.
You be serious. What do you think? Though?
Both. I'm excited for.
Think we're gonna see her naked, Mike?
Hopefully, we see some leaked photos of that. Can't be any worse than Charlotte. Ugh, that was awful. That poor girl.
That's pretty bad. Ric Flair's doing better.
Yes.
We can end the
shout
show
out,
on a good
shout
note.
out to Nature Boy.
He's doing great, Michael.
He's alive and kicking. Is he drinking?
Probably. Probably why he's doing so great.
Well, I thought that was the reason why he wasn't doing so great.
I don't know, but glad to see. Glad to see they're already using
But he's
it.
pretty old anyway, so.
Well, I'm glad to see they've wasted their time to use it as an angle in wrestling.
Yeah. And she still didn't win the belt. So.
Yeah, they're definitely setting up some rematches for that.
Any other interesting things we need to read from the chat before we get off of here?
Let's man this chat one more time before we get out of here on our special Monday night edition of Slam Pigs Podcast. Real quick, want to thank you, Lee, for stopping by the chat, and Megan. We'll see you this Sunday, Lee. Don't worry, I wouldn't miss the chance to talk to Michael once again. I'm actually looking forward to being chewed out by him. There's a lot more, but he'll tell us all that. I'm not reading all that.
Let me guess, you wrote another book.
He did. But he'll be on the show this Sunday.
It's a comment section, not articles. Okay? It doesn't say articles. It says comments.
It's not a Reddit post.
Can you keep it to 2 sentences or less?
No, hey, man, thank you so much for staying up late and coming by the chat in all seriousness. We will see you this Sunday. And Logie's Hoagies at Logan Myers 14 this Sunday for Future Wrestling. Get over there, check out the episode with him and Michael dropping this week. Speaking of Michael, where can everyone check you out?
Once again, you can check me out at Mike the Slam Pig on Twitter. As always, check us out, the Wwe TMD. Slam Pigs Cruise Control. We have our sister show, The Reset Button. Future of Wrestling with Logan and Broski. But this week, it's Logan and me.
Logan and Hosky with 0.
Why am I Hosky?
I don't know. Spelled right.
It didn't. That was kind of hurtful. What? Here I am trying to plug
it's kind of a compliment.
Trying to plug all this shit. You got to call me a Hosky? That's insulting. It's a good thing I don't have any feelings. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. Our sister show, The Reset Button. Make sure to check out those Hibiki Quickies. He's still dropping them like it's hot. Also, Hibiki Honors, one of my new favorite things on the channel.
New episode's coming, I promise.
New episode.
Guys.
Is it going to be the Berserker?
It's going to be Power and Glory.
Oh, that's right. Yes. My favorite team is Power and Glory.
Look for that coming.
Can I do the intro for that?
Sure.
My favorite team is Power and Glory.
At least I'll get the soundbite of that in there somehow.
Absolutely.
But,
I still think I should do Logan's introduction for his future wrestling show. It should just be a recording.
We'll try something.
All of his nicknames. He's like Apollo Creed. I swear to God, he's got like 17 nicknames.
He's like the architect, the Viper, he's the Legend Killer.
He's all of them.
All of them.
His 1,001 gimmicks.
He's every nickname ever.
Yes.
But Michael, I will see you this Sunday. TLC Post Show Live.
Birthday.
On your birthday.
That's right. There better be some cake here.
Catch us Sunday for Michael's 30th birthday bash at TLC Post Show. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at the Wwe TMD. Check out everything Michael just said. Until next week, Slam Pigs Podcast.
By the way, if anybody would like to send me any birthday presents, just DM me or something. I'll get that taken care of. I accept all gifts, cash, credit.
Serious. You're going to end the show on that kind of note.
I'm sorry.
Please give me something.
You want to end the show? All right. On!